3 a.m., your eyes open. The room is dark, nothing made a sound, no alarm, no dream, no reason. And yet here you are, completely, unnervingly awake. Your heart is doing something strange, not racing, just present, like it's waiting for you to notice something you can't see. You stare at the ceiling. The house is quiet in that specific way that feels less like silence and more like held breath. And somewhere in the back of your skull, something ancient is whispering. Check. Listen. Something is out there. Here's the thing. That feeling isn't a malfunction. It isn't anxiety. It isn't random. It is a 200,000-year-old alarm system doing exactly what it was built to do. And tonight, we're going to trace it all the way back. Here's the first question that should bother you. Why 3 a.m. specifically? Not 1 a.m., not 5 a.m. Why does it almost always happen right there, in that dead zone between midnight and dawn? The answer involves something your body is doing to you on purpose. But to understand it, we need to go somewhere uncomfortable first. We need to go back about 10,000 years, before beds, before ceilings, before the concept of a full night's sleep even existed. Picture the African savanna, late Pleistocene. Your ancestors don't sleep in a house. They sleep on the ground or in shallow rock shelters in groups of 20 to 40 people. The fire is small. The darkness outside the firelight is enormous. And in that darkness, things are moving. Leopards are crepuscular hunters, most active at dusk and dawn. Lions hunt between midnight and 4 a.m. Hyenas work in coordinated packs in the deep dark. The hours between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. were for hundreds of thousands of years the most statistically dangerous hours a human being could be alive. Your genome remembers this, not as a memory, as a reflex. So here's what I want you to think about. If sleeping through the night was dangerous, how did humans survive at all? There's a researcher named Roger Eckhirsch who spent 16 years digging through historical documents, diaries, court records, medical texts, literature. He found something that rewrote everything we thought we knew about human sleep. For most of human history, people didn't sleep in one block. They slept in two. They called it first sleep and second sleep. You'd fall asleep around dusk, sleep deeply for roughly 4 hours, wake up around midnight or 1 a.m., stay awake for an hour or two, sometimes longer, then drift back into a lighter second sleep until dawn. This wasn't insomnia. This was the default human sleep architecture. And now the 3 a.m. question has an answer. You're waking up because your body is trying to execute a sleep schedule that is older than civilization. The 2-hour gap between first and second sleep was supposed to happen. People used that time deliberately. They'd pray. They'd think through problems. Couples would talk. Some cultures believed this was the hour when the boundary between the living and the dead was thinnest. Medieval physicians actually recommended this middle-of-the-night waking as the best time for creative thought. They called it watch, like a sailor keeping watch on a ship, because that's exactly what it was. But here's the thing that should make you pause. If the whole tribe woke up at the same time, who was watching the perimeter? Think about this carefully. 20 sleeping bodies in the dark, firelight dying down, a coordinated predator pack moving in from the grass. If everyone woke at 2 a.m. and everyone slept through 4 a.m., there was always a window of total vulnerability. So how did that problem get solved? Anthropologists studying present-day hunter-gatherer tribes, the Hadza in Tanzania, the Kungsan in the Kalahari, found something remarkable. In a sleeping group, people almost never enter deep sleep at the same time. The sleep cycles of group members are naturally offset. While some are in deep sleep, others are in light sleep, near the surface of waking, ready to startle alert. One study found that in a group of 33 Hadza adults, there were only 18 minutes across an entire 8-hour night when every single person was simultaneously in deep sleep. 18 minutes out of 480. Your tribe was never fully asleep. The group itself was the alarm system, and you were part of the rotation. Tonight, if you wake up at 3 a.m., don't reach for your phone, don't look at the time obsessively. Lie still. Notice whether your mind is actually calm but alert, not panicked. Notice whether your thoughts feel unusually clear, because what you might be experiencing isn't a disorder, it's the ancient watch state, the state your ancestors used for quiet reflection, for problem solving, for sensing the perimeter. Your body has entered second sleep mode. The question is whether you let it run, or whether you override it with blue light and cortisol spirals. But wait, we still haven't addressed the fear. Because some of you don't just wake up calmly, some of you wake up with that cold, sourceless dread, the feeling that something is wrong without any evidence of anything being wrong. Where does that come from, and why does it feel so specifically, physically real? Here's where your body chemistry becomes genuinely strange. Body temperature follows a 24-hour rhythm. Your core temperature peaks in the late afternoon. It bottoms out, hits its lowest point of the entire day, between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. This temperature trough is not incidental. It's synchronized with your deepest sleep. Your metabolism slows, your immune system surges, cell repair accelerates, but the trough also means your body is at its most physically vulnerable. Your reaction time is slowest, your grip strength is measurably weaker, your pain tolerance is lower. This is the hour surgeons most dread being paged for complex emergencies. Human performance statistics show a measurable valley right here, and your ancient brain knows this about itself, so it compensates. Right around 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., your adrenal glands release a spike of cortisol. Not the stress cortisol of a deadline or a fight, a preparatory cortisol, a get-ready-to-move signal. Your body is essentially preloading your fight-or-flight system in anticipation of dawn, the most active predator transition window of the entire 24-hour cycle. This cortisol spike is what wakes you up, and it's also why the waking feels charged. Your body isn't panicking, it's arming, it's handing the night watch over to your conscious mind. So here's the question that has no comfortable answer. What was so reliably terrifying about this specific hour across so many tens of thousands of years, that evolution built a dedicated cortisol alarm into every human body? What did your ancestors encounter repeatedly, consistently, in that window between 3 a.m. and dawn? The data on large predator attack patterns is grimly specific. Lion predation on humans peaks between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., specifically the new moon nights, when even starlight is absent. Researchers in Tanzania documented over 500 lion attacks on humans over 15 years. The pattern was unmistakable: dark nights, the last hours before dawn. Sleeping groups at the edge of villages. For 200,000 years of human existence, the darkness around 3 a.m. was not symbolic. It was a hunting window. Your cortisol spike is a direct biological record of those encounters. Written in chemistry, preserved across 10,000 generations, still running in your body tonight. And now the sourceless fear makes complete sense. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational, verbal, reasoning part of your brain, is still groggy. But your amygdala is already online. Your amygdala doesn't need evidence. It doesn't file reports. It doesn't ask for proof. It just feels the cortisol. It reads the darkness. It runs the ancestral pattern. Predator hour, check the perimeter. Something could be out there. The fear isn't irrational. The fear is a 200,000-year-old heuristic that was correct often enough to be worth keeping. The reason it feels sourceless is because the source, the actual threat, is gone. The lions are gone. But the alarm system doesn't know that. It was never given the update. So tonight, when you open your eyes at 3 a.m., remember what you actually are. You are not a modern person with a sleep disorder. You are an ancient creature running ancient software in a world that changed faster than your biology could follow. The waking is a rotation. The fear is a record. The silence you're listening to, that enormous, held-breath silence, is the same silence your ancestors listened to every night of their lives. They listened hard enough to survive, hard enough that you exist. The strangest part, you're still listening, and somewhere in the back of your skull, past the rational explanations, past the cortisol and the temperature graphs and the biphasic sleep research, something is still out there in the dark, and it's waiting for you to stop paying attention. Sleep well.